From our Toronto studios, this is Muslim News on Muslim Network Television. Assalamu alaikum, I'm your host, Saleha Faruque. First, let's begin with the headlines. The Pentagon received $778 billion, but USAID is running out of money for COVID-19 vaccines. The CDC is shortening quarantine time to 5 days. Tucson police investigating weekend attack at Islamic Center. India freezes Mother Teresa's charity accounts amid hate attacks. Bells toll for anti-apartheid icon Desmond Tutu, warrior for justice. And our top story tonight. U.S. President Joe Biden on Monday has authorized $778 billion in new military spending. Despite that, the U.S. Agency for International Development is short of funds to pay for the administrative efforts to help vaccinate the world's population against COVID-19. USAID is in charge of distributing coronavirus vaccine doses to COVAX, the Global Vaccine Equity Program. Two unnamed agency officials interviewed by Politico said that they are concerned efforts could stall into the coming spring. In the past year, the agency has relied on more than $1.6 billion allocated through the American Rescue Plan. The money is to facilitate the shipment and administration of COVID-19 vaccine doses internationally. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders on Sunday said that Congress should demand mass production and widespread distribution of N95 masks to American households. Sanders' call comes amid the highly contagious Omicron variant of COVID-19 spreading rapidly nationwide and overwhelming the already strained hospitals. The independent Vermont senator and chair of the Senate Budget Committee wrote on Twitter that N95 masks are the most effective way to stop the spread of the COVID virus. Experts are emphasizing the importance of high-quality masks in stemming Omicron's transmission. The variant was first detected in southern Africa last month and has become the dominant variant in the U.S. and in other countries. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention on Monday cut the recommended times people should isolate after testing positive for COVID-19 from 10 days to 5. That's if the person doesn't have any symptoms and wears a mask around others for at least 5 more days. The CDC also shortened the recommended time for vaccinated people to quarantine if exposed to the virus to 5 days. Fully vaccinated people and those who have received the booster shots may not need to quarantine at all, the CDC says. If symptoms get better, people may also leave their homes after 5 days, the CDC said. People with a fever should stay home, it added. A group of people allegedly punched a man and broke a window at the Islamic Center of Tucson Saturday morning, local police had said. Frank Magos, public information officer for Tucson Police, said that the suspects confronted a group of worshippers arriving at the mosque. A man was punched while trying to separate the group, police said. The suspects also broke a window before leaving in their cars. Center officials posted on Facebook that they would be taking extra measures to safeguard the property and community members. Police in Columbus, Ohio found the body of Imam Sheikh Mohammed Hassan Adam in a vehicle near the 1400 block of Windsor and Joyce Avenues. Police in Columbus, Ohio found the body of Imam Sheikh Mohammed Hassan Adam in a vehicle near the 1400 block of Windsor and Joyce Avenues. His death has been ruled a homicide. Members of the city's Somali community said Adam was last seen at 7 p.m. at the El Hurera Mosque on Wednesday. Imam Horsid Noah, outreach director of the Somali Islamic Centers of Ohio, told ABC News that members of the Somali community found Adam's body. He said Adam was known for fundraising for orphans, feeding the homeless, and caring for immigrants and refugees in the community. Hassan Omar, president of the Somali Community Association of Ohio, urged police to thoroughly investigate Adam's death to bring justice. Adam's homicide brings the number of murders in the city to 198 this year. The Islamic Center of San Antonio is offering $150,000 for information that leads to find the missing 3-year-old Lina Sadar Keel. Lina vanished from a playground at her family's apartment complex in northwestern San Antonio Monday evening. Lina's father would occasionally attend the mosque. The center originally offered a $10,000 reward, but by Thursday evening, $100,000 had been donated by charities and private individuals, according to mosque spokesperson Mike Martin. Crime Stoppers of San Antonio is also offering a $50,000 reward. India's government on Monday froze the bank accounts of Mother Teresa's missionaries of charity in West Bengal. The decision came after several right-wing Hindu groups disrupted Christmas Mass in parts of India during the weekend. That includes Prime Minister Narendra Modi's parliamentary constituency of Uttar Pradesh. Hardline Hindu groups affiliated with Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party have repeatedly accused the group of leading religious conversions under the guise of charity. The organization offers poor Hindus and tribal communities money, free education, and shelter. Nobel laureate Mother Teresa, a Roman Catholic nun who died in 1997, founded the charity in 1950. More than 90 mainly Southeast Asian Muslim groups are urging the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to break its silence over China's ongoing Uyghur genocide. They penned a letter to OIC President Dr. Yusuf bin Ahmed Al Uthaymeen, Secretary General of Hussein Brahim Taha, and the foreign ministers of member states. It urged the OIC to take strong public stand against China's genocide and crimes against humanity against Uyghurs, Kazakhs, and other Muslims in East Turkestan. Most Muslim nations also have not condemned China over its repression of Muslims in Xinjiang province. Since 2016, millions of Uyghurs, Kazakhs, and other Muslims have been arbitrarily detained in internment camps in East Turkestan. China denies any violations and claims it's combating terrorism and extremism. The bodies of 28 migrants washed up on Libya's western coast after their boat sank, a security official said on Sunday. It is the latest tragedy along the world's deadliest migration route. Libyan Red Crescent teams recovered the bodies and found 3 survivors at 2 different sites on the beaches of El Alous, about 55 miles from Tripoli. Images published by Libyan media outlets show corpses lined up along the shore and placed in body bags. Libya has been racked by a decade of conflict and lawlessness. It has become a key departure point for African and Asian migrants seeking to reach Europe. Roughly 120 Israeli settlers stormed the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in the Old City of Jerusalem under the protection of the regime's forces. Settlers entered the mosque compound through the Moroccan Gate Monday morning to mark a Jewish religious occasion and perform Talmudic prayers. Hardline Israeli legislators and extremist settlers regularly storm the mosque compound in the occupied city. It is a provocative move that stokes Palestinian anger. The Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, situated just above the Western Wall Plaza, houses the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque, holy sites for Jews and Muslims respectively. Non-Muslim worship at the compound is prohibited according to an agreement between Israel and Jordan. South Africa began a week of mourning Monday for revered anti-apartheid campaigner Archbishop Desmond Tutu. The Nobel Peace Prize laureate died Sunday at the age of 90. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa told reporters after visiting Tutu's family in Cape Town that he was the voice of the voiceless. Tutu's funeral will be held in his former Cape Town parish, St. George's Cathedral, on New Year's Day. The ceremony will likely be muted due to COVID-19 restrictions. Tutu was an outspoken critic of militarism and imperialism. He called for the prosecution of former US President George W. Bush and former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair in the International Criminal Court over the invasion and occupation of Iraq. Tutu was the only world leader who spoke out about the genocide of Muslims in the Central African Republic being committed by the Christian Lord's Army. He also equated what Palestinians face to apartheid and endorsed the BDS movement. Coming up next after the break is our in-depth analysis segment, so please stay tuned and we will be right back after these messages.
To get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Despite the development of a COVID-19 vaccine, millions around the world will not have access. We need a vaccine that's free and available to everyone, everywhere. It's time for a people's vaccine.
Welcome back. To discuss the latest humanitarian situation in Afghanistan, let's go over to Imam Abdul Malik Mujahid. Over to you, Imam Mujahid.
Thank you, Saleha. Afghanistan, everyone is telling us, is starving. But America has $10 billion of Afghanistan money, which it is not releasing. United Nations says that, an organization of Islamic cooperation says that. Everyone is saying it's a terrible situation in Afghanistan. We have someone who just came a couple of months ago from Afghanistan to Canada, and he is a peace and justice nonviolent activist, Basir Bita.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us, what are you hearing from Afghanistan right now?
Well, I'm hearing different stories back from Afghanistan. My brothers, my parents, my friends, my colleagues. I'm hearing really horrendous stories about the food material, the scarcity of access to food. Bank systems already shut down. All private banks are down. There is no governmental system except very few, like passport department and educational system. Women's and girls are not allowed to walk outside their homes or work outside their homes except in very rare cases without any guardians. The food material prices already skyrocketed. Street robbery as a result of unemployment jacked up. The current regime has no revenue source except selling out things like mines, like copper mines, drugs, and support from neighboring countries. And unfortunately, these sanctions, as you mentioned, $9 to $10 billion, only citizens of Afghanistan are paying the cost for such brutal sanctions.
United Nations says they have raised more than $1 billion for food aid for Afghans. What are you hearing? How much of that money is actually reaching Afghan people at this difficult time?
Well, at this crucial time, I believe that some money will go and will be available to Afghans in dire need of support. But I also, at the same time, I suspect that the money will safely become accessible to citizens of Afghanistan because of the current regime. Also, $1 billion will be able, let alone the administrative cost, if they even reach to the citizens of Afghanistan, you could see that only a bunch of people or a few millions of people will be benefited from the funds. How about the others? Given the fact that winter is already and Afghanistan is a mountainous country, and people even don't have to the money that they have in the banks.
What is the mechanism which United Nations is using to distribute funds among people?
Well, the system could be satisfactory if there is accountability and transparency. But the current government, which is people say different stories, that the current government is like the former government, is a fully corrupt government, and there is still doubt in my mind and heart that if the money is released, 1 billion, and reach to Afghanistan, and ordinary people, public, will have access and benefit from it, there will be still a scarcity of access to those who are in dire need in the provinces. These funds will go particularly to the larger cities, but there will be so many other peoples who are in dire need. As an example, I can tell you that every day I am in touch with friends in Afghanistan, and they say that specific groups like drug addicts, which makes up to, based on estimation, 13% of the population. And every day, several people of these drug addicts are found dead on the streets, and there is no support for them. These are just one of the groups who have no access and will, for sure, will not have access to the funds that will be released to them.
We're talking with Basir Bita, who is an Afghan peace activist who landed in Canada a couple of months ago, about the food situation over there, and United States keeping $10 billion of Afghan money here, punishing all population. When we look at the different videos, different people within Afghanistan are producing, YouTube bloggers and all that, this scene and all that. So things look normal. It look like a whole lot of people are sitting looking for fun, looking for food or any lineup of people waited. I mean, it looks like a normal situation when you look at the bloggers who are blogging from or Herat or different places. So the situation in city is better and situation in the countryside is worse.
Well, it depends on what media channels you are getting information from. You can still find so many Afghans, but will not constitute a large percentage who still enjoy the life in Afghanistan. But the vast majority of people are suffering deeply from the consequences of the sanctions put by the international community on Afghanistan. Ordinary people will have to pay for the costs of such sanctions. You can find the stories that I am receiving every day from friends who are in dire need of any kind of support, mental supports, financial supports to get visa and their passports and get out of the country, civil society activists, different groups who are not only in dire need, but they are suffering from so many other challenges. It's unbelievably behind my personal imaginations that people are suffering so much from what the US governments and international community left behind after their evacuation.
I mean, I'm just amazed that you just came 2 months ago to Canada and you're already on network and you're telling the story. Are Afghans in Canada better organized to ensure welfare of the people left behind?
Well, since I'm new to the culture, I have reached out to old friends of mine who are already engaged with their own personal life, business, adjusting with the new environment. You know, the life style and the systems are way different from Afghanistan. I hope that someday Afghans who are outside the country, particularly in North America and Europe, they someday get their hands together along with other Muslim communities to turn the situations in a different way for Afghans. And my wish is that the Muslim world get together and help Afghans, and particularly through their own Islamic traditions and Sharia, sit with the Talibans and get Talibans accept very basic human rights values and democratic values, so that the international community, hopefully at the end of the day, may lift up the sanctions and the people will suffer less.
Thank you so much, Imam Mujahid, and that's all from our Toronto studios tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can find previous episodes and more on our YouTube and Facebook pages. For more content, please keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.